but it's being actually, surprisingly enough, it's actually kind of swept under the rug a tiny bit in terms of most people when they're talking about it. They're kind of lumping GameFi with NFTs a little too much. Where I
Yes.
think it should be the game with NFTs and the whole ecosystem instead of just being like an NFT game, basically.
Yeah, I fully agree. Like, if you look at a lot of the games that come out right now, and I've just recently today looked at another one that I felt like, man, that team is amazing, super background, and then I see a game that comes out with 10,000 characters, where I just feel like, man, why are these guys taking the NFT part that we've seen in these profile picture NFT series
Right.
into gaming? Take real games, like have them mint, I don't know, real characters in the game, make it $20 cost for the character, and then you build your character, and then you get, like, I don't know, sword and armor and stuff as NFTs. And they have, like, you don't need to take these scarcity approaches by the when it comes to the entrance to the game,
Right.
like, just make a game and have all items be NFTs. Like, it's not that hard.
Right. And it's that is a sort of thing too with like I understand a portion of it, like, right, a lot of games have like Gen Zero, like the Gen Zero thing, right?
Yeah.
Every a lot of games have the Gen Zero thing, which I understand, of course. You're here first, that those can be scarce and stuff, which is actually good. But there is also a problem too where there's some games and stuff where or investments that people could do, and they need about $5,000 to even start. And
Yeah.
it's becoming a bit of a problem because how do you get mass adoption when you need $5,000? Like most, I remember growing up that I mean, I had to really save up for a $300-$400 PlayStation or an Xbox. That was a stretch for me back in the day and stuff. So
Yeah.
that was, yeah, I mean, I can imagine, as most kids don't have a $5,000 lying around.
No, absolutely not. And I don't get it either, because, I mean, there are 3 billion gamers out there in traditional gaming waiting to be onboarded. And you're not going to onboard them with, like, Genesis NFTs limited to 10,000. And if you're not in those, you're kind of like already screwed in terms of being, like, at the top, because you
Right.
can only get, like, second gen NFTs, which are obviously worse, and
Yeah.
maybe even less scars and all that kind of stuff. Like, just build an amazing game with a regular game entrance, and then have all the rare stuff, and obviously all items in general, but then especially the rare stuff, be NFTs. They're going to have value on their own, just based on how important they are in the game. Like, the problem is people are trying to monetize NFT games based on the entrance, not on the value the game provides in terms of fun gameplay.
Right.
Because, I mean, look at World of Warcraft or any kind of other game that is out there right now, where people are so bullish and so, like, almost desperate to get a certain item, because they want it for the game, just in the game, to have it and play with it, because it's so overpowered
Right.
or scarce or whatever. Like, if you replicate that on NFT games, and then put an NFT, like, and then plug NFT functionality into it, so that whoever owns it can sell it, there's value there already, but it's based on the progression in the game and not on thousands and thousands of entrance fees.
Right. So do you think that's sort of happening? Obviously, I'm not trying to blame all games, because I think this is a very new space, and a lot of games kind of did it because that's the only way they could figure out to even launch it, basically. But do you think that I'm not trying to say cash grab. I'm really not trying to say cash grab, but it sort of seems like our game is not as good, so we're gonna kind of front load it so we get all the cash up front, so we can develop it to, because that's what it seems as what's going on for a lot of stuff. And I understand it's very costly. I mean, obviously you would know, and a bunch of Solidity developers are pretty hard to come by as well, and
Yeah.
they're pretty costly. So I kind of understand both sides of it. Where I can tell where a project's trying more harder to actually make something versus actually, I'm not trying to say bullshit, but like, some games are a little bit of a cash grab bullshit, basically, where they were never going to develop much at all, and it was just mostly about selling those 10,000 NFT characters first, and
Yeah.
then hopefully they're trying to get the 5% royalty for the resales and stuff in terms of like the income coming in. Or
Absolutely. I mean, you're trying to avoid that. I'm gonna outright say it's cash grabs. I'm not saying like I'm not going to name any specific games, but there are a ton of games that I looked at. Those are pure cash grabs. They are front loading their monetization in order to really get the hype, which obviously is dripping down a little bit in the current market, and Axie's economy plummeting. So all the people that went heavy on Axie, especially those, which is the sad stuff, especially those that were desperate and did it from developing countries in order to make a living in that game, now suddenly
Right.
got like slow rock by the game, like taking all earnings out of PVE, all earnings out, as I think as of matchmaking, what is it, 800 rating or 900
Yeah.
rating. I just saw it. I haven't read the article yet, but obviously, I mean, Axie team is trying to fix their economy, but that should have been a focus from the beginning
Right.
before everyone jumped over there. And then there's so many games that are trying to replicate that hype that Axie had last summer, and
Yeah.
it's not going to work, especially not in the current market. That GameFi hype, that is over. You like, you need to start. People need to start delivering real games now.
Yeah.
It's not anymore like I have some NFT that has a game value or a game utility, and then I can just slap whatever price tag I want on it. That's not going to work long term anymore.
Right. I think it's just because the obviously there was a whole NFT. I mean, I guess part of it was possibly that you had a very large amount of uninformed